Beyond the screens, past the pings, and deeper than the noise of today, there is a frequency that never fades. It is the sound of a voice telling a truth that was true 1,000 years ago and will be true 1,000 years from now. These are the narratives that shaped civilizations, the legends that whispered to our ancestors, and the stories that still live inside us, waiting to be woken up. In a world that moves too fast, we are taking a moment to sit still, to breathe, to co create a world using nothing but the air between us and the power of your imagination. I, Rashmi Shetty, am your host, and this is Once Upon a Time Stories that have stood the test of time. Let's begin. Raksha Bandhan literally means the bond of protection and is one of India's most cherished cultural festivals. Celebrated on the full moon day of the Hindu month of Shravana, it's usually in August that Raksha Bandhan is celebrated all over the world, especially by Indians. It honors the enduring affection and the mutual responsibility between siblings. It extends to cousins, close friends, and adoptive ties. Sisters tie a decorated thread or amulet around their brother's right wrist as a shield of love, well being, and long life. In return, the brother promises lifelong support and protection, reinforcing family trust across distance and time. The sister applies a red vermilion mark on the brother's forehead, performs a traditional lamp ritual, and feeds him sweets. Gifts or monetary tokens are given in return. Today, the festival extends beyond the biological ties to include brothers in law, as in Lumba Rakhi in Rajasthan, neighbors, soldiers, and friends, symbolizing community unity and harmony. Across centuries, this simple length of thread has woven its way through the tapestry of Indian folklore. Stretching across divine realms, it has moved to royal courts and sacred rivers. The origin of Raksha Bandhan do not belong to the single era or legend. Rather, they live in the moments when compassion surpassed duty and love demanded protection. On Raksha Bandhan, sharing three of those beautiful stories. The first one is between Krishna and Draupadi. During a royal assembly in Indraprastha, Lord Krishna severed the tyrannical Shishupala's head with his Sudarshana Chakra. As the divine weapon returned, its sharp edge cut Krishna's finger, letting it bleed. While courtiers panicked and physicians rushed for bandages, Draupadi did not hesitate. Tearing a strip of her vibrant silk directly from her sari, she gently tied it around the wound. Deeply moved, Krishna promised to return the gesture whenever she was in need. Years later, after the Pandavas lost a rigged game of dice, Dushasana dragged Draupadi into the court of Hastinapur to publicly disrobe her. Stripped of all human support, Draupadi called upon Krishna. Remembering that silk strip of cloth that she had tied on his wound, Krishna blessed her with an unending length of cloth to save her honor. Try as he might, Dushasana could not unwrap her, collapsing in defeat before her honor could be harmed. I'm sure you remember this story, and the reason behind Krishna's help was what Draupadi did by putting that silk thread around Krishna's hurt finger. I'm sure you remember watching this on television or having read this story. But what Draupadi had done by sheer affection, putting a strip of her silk sari on Krishna's wound, Krishna took that as the Raksha that he had to be for her and the bandhan that she had done by tying it around his wound. There's another interesting Raksha Bandhan story between Rani Karnavati and Emperor Humayun. In the 16th century, the kingdom of Mewar faced destruction as the Sultan of Gujarat marched towards Chittorgarh. Outnumbered and desperate to save her people, the queen, Rani Karnavati, reached beyond political and religious divide. She sent a silk rakhi to the Mughal emperor Humayun, appealing to him as a brother. Humayun was deeply moved by the sacred pledge and immediately redirected his army southwards. Delayed by distance, Humayun arrived to find Chittorgarh fallen and Karnavati having committed Johar to protect her dignity. Heartbroken, Humayun still honored his vow. He drove out the invaders and returned the throne to Karnavati's young son. Another beautiful story to show the love of a brother to whom the sister sent a rakhi. So it is not blood alone, but anyone you trust that you tie the rakhi to is obliged to do what a brother would do. The third story is set in 326 BCE. The army of Alexander the Great reached the banks of the Jhelum River, preparing for a fierce battle against King Porus of the Paurava kingdom. Aware of Porus's legendary prowess and fearing for her husband's life, Alexander's wife, Roxana, sought a way to safeguard him. Having learned of the local tradition of the Raksha Sutra, a thread representing a sacred vow of protection, she sent a silk thread to King Porus alongside a message, appealing to him as a sister to spare Alexander's life in the battle. Porus, who was deeply committed to the ethos of Indian chivalry, accepted the thread and pledged to honor her request. During the heat of the battle, Porus came face to face with Alexander. With a clear opportunity to strike that fatal blow, Porus saw the rakhi tied to his own wrist. He held his weapon, choosing to honor his promise to a sister over securing immediate victory. Though separated by different eras and characters, every story ends on the same resonant truth. Protection is not merely a physical act, but a sacred promise. Whether shielding a queen's dignity, granting immortality, or restoring a fallen kingdom, the thread transforms an ordinary moment into an extraordinary one. Centuries later, that quiet promise continues to bind hearts every time a rakhi is tied. Happy Raksha Bandhan. With that, we complete our journey for today. I hope you enjoyed stepping into this story as much as I enjoyed telling it. But remember, a story only lives when it is shared. If these words touched you, please pass them on. Share this episode with someone who might need a moment of wonder today. In a digital world that can sometimes feel a little lonely, let this story be a beacon of smiles and a steady light of hope in your pocket. Let's catch up soon to listen to what happened once upon a time.